Ladies and gentlemen, this story comes out of Houston, Texas. I don't know how many more stories I'm going to do like this out of Houston, but Texas in general takes the L yet again. But Houston, maybe I need to just start singling them out because they get a ton of these stories coming out of our state. So they make the whole state look bad with stories like this. But this story is going to have some details that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So what I have to do before I get to talking about that individual that you see on my screen, before I say anything disparaging, some people might find this content offensive and controversial. My information comes from many sources, which you guys can actually follow that up and look it up. My video commentary also is going to give my thoughts and opinions about the facts of this story. I'm doing this in order to try to prevent these things going forward. If people will listen, heed to my advice, I think we can eliminate a lot of these things that are happening to children. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. Okay? Now, court documents revealed new details about the deadly shooting of a 9-year-old girl in Heights area apartment late Monday night. The individual that you guys see on my screen, I think fits the definition of what a thug is, and the type of thing that I speak out against is the behavior and especially the choices that these mothers are choosing to date these men and put their children around. Okay, now I know they think it's cute because they see it on TikTok and Instagram and laying up under a thug and they loves them some thugs and blah, blah, blah. But thugs and kids don't mix, especially when these kids don't belong to these thugs and you just expect for them to step in because they want to treat you well. But see, here's the thing that I don't think that these type of women, it's not all, and shout out to my good mothers and good women out there, it's not all, but there are too damn many women that believe that just because this man treats you well, that he is going to treat what came from you well. Do I need to say that again? Do I need to say it a little bit slower? Maybe do I need to present it in a different context? Just because a man enjoys the way that you look and enjoys you putting your mouth on him, and he enjoys sticking his stick inside of your hole, don't mean that he is going to be a good candidate to be a role model for your child. You understand? Because I certainly don't believe that these women think that men like this are going to treat their children like they treat them. Because if that's the case, then maybe that's why you have a lot of molestation going on. Considering the fact that these children look like carbon copies of their mothers, except a hell of a lot younger, right? Whole lot younger. Much younger version of the mother, an untainted version of the mother. How many stories have I done just in the past 2 or 3 months about these children being sexually assaulted? Because your expectation is if they treat you well and make you happy, they would treat the children well and make them happy. And that's not how it works, because I just tend to believe that these men are not looking at the children like they look at you. But I digress. Let's move past that point because it's making me sick to my stomach. The individual, and we're going to talk about that angel here in just a moment, but the fool that you see on my screen is Jeremiah Jones. He is charged with capital murder in the death of a 9-year-old girl by the name of Kylie Sorrells. Kylie Sorrells is the angel that you guys just saw on my screen right here with that beautiful smile and beautiful, beautiful brown eyes. Just an absolute shame that this happened to her. So this story is going to really turn you guys' stomachs upside down. But this shooting happened just before 10 p.m. Monday at an apartment on 404 Oxford Street near East 4th Street. Now, Jeremiah Jones was reportedly out on bond for a different felony charge when he allegedly murdered the child. Damn, Jeremiah. Damn. Would you guys like for me to repeat that? Because I want to just make sure that we don't miss these tidbits of information. Let me go back. And matter of fact, I don't know if you guys actually saw this thumbnail. Let me put this up on the screen. Y'all have got to see this. And I need to stress this point. So some of you guys might have been wondering, why did I put that picture up? Let me make it bigger for you guys. I want you guys to understand that all of these black men that you guys see on my screen are the men that did this to this little girl and her mother. You guys catch that? All of these individuals that you see on my screen are the individuals that did this to this 9-year-old child and her mother. Do you guys want to know what all of these individuals have in common? Anybody want to take a guess as to what all of these individuals have in common? Y'all want to type it in the chat real quick? What you guys are looking at are 8 mugshots of the same freaking person. I know people might be trying not to be racist and say that, maybe I thought it was 8 different people because all black people don't look the same. I was trying to say the politically correct thing. No, it's okay. It's okay. Because there's a lot of people out there on my side that look at other races and say, yeah, they kind of look the same. We can say that about black folks. A lot of us do look the same. It's okay. It's okay to call things out when you see them. This is not 8 different individuals. This is the exact same person. So what you would have to ask is, why would I bring this freaking clown? No pun intended, because that'll be on another story. Y'all will catch it here in a minute. Clown, that word clown. We'll get back to that here in a minute. But the individual that you guys see on my screen, you would have to wonder, why would a mother bring this type of activity around their children, right? Why would you bring a man that has that many mugshots around your child? For what? He was reportedly out on bond for a different felony charge, not a misdemeanor charge, not a slap on the hand, not a seatbelt ticket, felony charge. Jail time charge, prison charge, potentially Fed charge. I don't know what the exact charges were, but a felony is pretty serious. When he allegedly murdered the child. He was taken into custody at about 6 p.m. Tuesday by HPD SWAT and tactical team officers in a parking lot in the 22300 block of Imperial Valley Drive. And I'm sorry, I know I didn't say that right, but whatever. I'm actually getting this story from abc13.com, so you guys can actually go back and look that up. Thank you for the article. Let's keep going. Now, according to court documents, not my words, the girl's mother by the name of Brittany Sorrells dated Jones for about 8 months. The couple broke up 2 months ago. She dated this man 8 months ago. And I continue to wonder, why is it that people who are not good role models for children, girls or boys, people who are violent, people who don't follow the law, somebody who cannot provide you a stable lifestyle, why are those the men who continue to keep getting the panties thrown into their faces? Why is that so attractive? Is it because they symbolize this thug lion that I talk about? They symbolize power. They symbolize dominance. Or do they symbolize stupidity and the mothers are just as stupid as these men are? Should I have not said that? I don't mind saying that because I really believe that's what it is. Stupid is as stupid thugs. Ain't that right, Lieutenant Dan? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. They dated for 8 months and they broke up 2 months ago. Let's keep going. Brittany said Jones came to her apartment the week before with a gun and threatened to kill her. Already threatened her. She had forewarning that this was going to happen. Okay? Now, on the night of the shooting, Brittany told police that her cousin, who was staying with her at the time, had been walking in and out of the apartment, so she left the door unlocked. Brittany claims that she was in bed with Kylie and 2 other children watching a movie when Jones just walked into the apartment and demanded a TV that he said belonged to him. So this man allegedly went there and was trying to take a TV. But something I'm going to tell you guys about people like this, dangerous folks, when you don't need to have people in your house or have people in your presence or know that people have made physical threats against you, I don't give a damn if it's a toothbrush. I don't give a damn if it's a pork chop. I don't give a damn if it's a gold vinyl record. I don't care what it is. You do not allow that person to come into your house for any reason. Just throwing that out there. Now, granted, he entered in without her knowing. He then ripped the TV off of the wall and moved it to the front of the apartment. He allegedly told Brittany that he wanted her cell phone after accusing her of dating and sleeping with other men, according to court documents. Brittany told police that when she gave him her phone, Jones immediately walked into the back bedroom where her daughter was. Let me say that again. He took the phone and went to the back bedroom where her daughter was. But I could have sworn just a minute ago I read that she said that she was on the bed with her daughter and two other children. Brittany claims that she was in bed with Kylie and two other children while watching a movie when he walked into the apartment. So now this girl is all of a sudden in another bedroom. Not that I don't even know if that even makes a difference, but I tend to see stuff like that, and I just get bothered whenever I see things that don't add up, or you're giving me things that don't make that I don't know didn't follow what you just said. That's when Brittany says she heard two gunshots and saw Jones leave the bedroom. Jones then allegedly shot Brittany, striking her in the shoulder before leaving the apartment. Brittany told police that she realized she was shot and ran to the bedroom where she saw her daughter on the floor with a gunshot wound to her head. Kylie was taken to Memorial Hermann. I'm not sure what Memorial Hermann is. I guess that's a intensive care place, hospital where she later died. Brittany was also taken to the hospital and stabilized. Police said that the other children who were in the apartment were unharmed and are now in the care of family members. Houston Police Chief Troy Fenner said in a statement that 9-year-old Kylie was a student and member of HPD's Police Activities League, the PAL program. The family is grieving right now and they're asking for privacy and prayers. It's a very difficult time, Fenner said. Now, court records show that Jones has an extensive criminal history, which you would have freaking known that if you had done what? A background check. You damn sure can't say that Houston hasn't heard my podcast before. I can almost guarantee you that this mother has heard my podcast before, because just in Houston alone, those videos that I've done just on Houston people, Houston situations have gotten quite a bit of viewage on my channel. So I'm almost positive that she's heard get a background check before you put these people around your children. But here's the thing. Let's be real. I don't think mom gave a damn about no background check, in my humble opinion. I think that even if you showed her a criminal history of him doing things to children, being violent, and whatever other little crimes he got going on here, all of these different mugshots, I still think that she'd be like, I love him anyway, y'all. I love my man. She was going to have that man around her daughter no matter what. An extensive criminal history. The most recent charges include evading arrest and making terroristic threats and violating terms of his bond. Well, if you're out on bond, what exactly does that mean? Usually when you have a bail bondsman or you're out on parole, you usually have to let them know who you're living with, who you're staying with. This sounds like he was probably living off of this woman for 8 months. So that means the terms of his bond would have had to mean that he had to report that, and they would have known where he was living, which means that the mom would have had to have known as well that he was in trouble. So I'm just saying, no excuses. Jones was scheduled to face a judge on Wednesday morning, but he ended up not appearing. When he appears in court on Thursday, his original bond from a previous charge is expected to be revoked. The violence that took her life brings boiling anger to the Houston Police Officers Union. They said that I cannot fathom why some animal would do that to a child. They refer to him as an animal. I think you can refer to him as a lot of different things. Perfectly fine with animal. Griffin believes that Harris County court system failed Kylie. The courts excuse me, let me read that again. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. The courts don't have to give a bond, or they can raise it to $1 million. It doesn't matter. If you've proven you're not going to be held accountable, you're not going to do your job as a citizen and not go out and commit crimes. You can hold them in jail, The courts keep saying, oh no, it's a constitutional right. They have to get a bail. That's not accurate. They are lying to the public, Griffin said. Wow, that's pretty powerful, and I really don't blame him. The family created a GoFundMe page to help pay for funeral arrangements. And I want you guys to remember, this baby girl was 9 years old. I guess there is just no plan to ever have life insurance. There's never no reason for people to have life insurance because I guess people are never planning for people to pass away at any point in life because nobody ever has life insurance. But nonetheless, let me pull up the GoFundMe so you guys can see it. The mother herself, even though she got shot in the arm, but I guess her fingers were okay enough to be able to write out this GoFundMe, and she asked the public for $10,000. She has so far raised $8,221 as of this in less than 24 hours. That's pretty damn good. So I guess this story actually got out there in the news, but nonetheless, if you guys want to donate to that GoFundMe and fund that, then you guys can find it. But let me give you guys the fair usage. Man, I got a lot more to say. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, y'all, bear with me. I'm trying to fix this sound kind of on the fly so I can make sure that you guys can hear the video. But if you guys would, do me a favor and please click the thumbs up and share this video. More than anything, we want to make sure and let people know what's going on with these stories, continue to spread these stories so that people like this 9-year-old child that ended up in this situation didn't have to be there because we're choosing to put our children in dangerous situations. So we absolutely have to spread this message of loving our children first. Okay, let's get it.
In the past 36 hours, at least 4 children have been shot in our area, 2 of them deadly.
Just heart-wrenching. Can't even describe it any other way. The latest, a 9-year-old girl who may have been a victim of a domestic dispute. Fox 26's Nate Griffin is live in the Houston Heights with more. Nate, what have you learned on this one?
Well, Melissa and Jose, good morning to you. Very sad story here. First of all, we just found out that the suspect, 22-year-old Jeremiah Jones, is going to be charged with capital murder. This is what we just found out. Authorities are actually seeking an arrest warrant for his capture as we speak. That is what we know. Let me unpack this story for you. Once again, very, very tragic. Happened around 10:30 last night here on Oxford Street off I-10, which is near the Heights. A mother and her 3 children, approximate ages 1, 3, and 9, were watching television in their apartment when a former boyfriend who was not happy about the previous breakup with the mom shows up and makes entry into that apartment. They didn't have any children together, nor had they been married. Now, according to authorities, the mother, who lives with a cousin, was warned by that cousin. The suspect was at the apartment complex, but it was just a little too late. The unthinkable took place once Jones made entry.
The family got separated. The suspect here executed a 9-year-old little girl in the apartment with a handgun. He then went after the mother, and she was shot also. However, she did survive the injuries, and she's at the hospital now, and I have interviewed her. But we do have a person of interest we're looking for. Of course, he's no longer here. We're looking for a man by the name of Jeremiah Jones.
And once again, Jeremiah Jones.
Now to a developing story about a shooting that left a 9-year-old girl dead and her mother injured in the Heights area.
Now this morning, the accused gunman, who investigators say is the mother's ex-boyfriend, is behind bars. Our Brittany Jeffers is live for us this morning with what's next for that suspect and how the girl is being remembered. Brittany?
Yes, and we're learning even more details about this disturbing case. Going through court documents, says that the victim's mother says that Jones came to her apartment just last week with a gun and threatened to kill her. Now, as you mentioned, Jones was arrested last night. He's now in jail, accused of shooting and killing that 9-year-old little girl named Kylie. 22-year-old Jeremiah Jones was arrested last night, accused of killing his ex-girlfriend's daughter, 9-year-old Kylie Sorrells. Court documents show that Brittany Sorrells and Jones ended their relationship 2 months ago, but investigators say that Jones showed up at Sorrells' apartment Monday night on the 400 block of Oxford in the Heights. According to documents, Sorrells was in bed watching a movie with Kylie and her 2 other children when Jones showed up, demanding he take a TV from the apartment he thought was his. He then ripped off a television from the wall. Documents say Jones demanded that she give him his phone and accused her of seeing another male. Sorrells gave Jones her phone, says he walked to the back bedroom. She says she heard 2 gunshots and saw the defendant exit the bedroom. 9-year-old Kylie died from her injuries. Sorrells suffered a gunshot wound to her arm. Jones now faces a capital murder charge as well as an aggravated assault charge. Domestic violence, police say, has impacted this family before. In the last month, there were 4 calls for service to that apartment unit. June 10th, 2 calls for threat by phone. And on June 7th, another disturbance call. Now, Jones does have a criminal history. He was out on bond for evading arrest back in January. There's also a charge of terroristic threat against a family member.
And also, if you guys are watching this, y'all would do me a favor and help us out, and please click that thumbs up. Share this video, okay? We want to try to get at least 1 thumb up for everybody that's watching, okay? So if y'all would, help us out with that.
Now, Jones is expected to go in front of a judge in probable cause court sometime this morning. We're still waiting to find out exactly when he will appear. We'll continue checking in with the courtroom, but we'll keep you updated as we learn more. Reporting live near downtown Houston, I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC 2 News.
Yeah, sure, Ben. You know, I spoke directly with the detective who interviewed that mother at the hospital. He says this woman's ex-boyfriend, Jeremiah Jones, intentionally shot her 9-year-old daughter out of what they believe is revenge, upset about their recent breakup. Now, this all happened, they say, while this little girl's 2 younger siblings, a 7-year-old and 1-year-old, were in the bedroom with her and saw everything that happened. The horrific shooting took place in a 3rd-floor apartment here at Camden Heights, located off Oxford Street. This is scene video from overnight. Investigators say mom and her 3 daughters were watching a movie in their room when Jones suddenly showed up, coming into the apartment through the unlocked front door, which was left open, they say, by the mom's cousin who lives with them. Police say Jones then confronted the mom and ripped a TV off the wall. Investigators say the 2 then ended up in the living room, where the argument continued, and Jones demanded to see her phone, accusing her of cheating, before he went back to the bedroom and shot the 9-year-old in the head. Mom tells police he came back out and shot her before taking off. Mom and daughter were rushed to a hospital where the 9-year-old later died. Mom, who was shot in the shoulder, is expected to survive. Her other 2 girls were not hurt and are now with family. Investigators say this mother had previously filed reports against Jones, who has a lengthy criminal history and was already out on bond for an unrelated charge. They say he'll be facing aggravated assault and capital murder charges in relation to this deadly shooting. Meanwhile, Jones's brother actually showed up here at the scene earlier, claiming that his brother was being wrongfully accused. He says that Jones was somewhere else at the time of the shooting and that they even have an alibi to prove it. He says his brother will be turning himself in to police later today. Now, we've reached out to HPD for clarification on those claims. Sherman.
Tragedy at this Houston Heights apartment complex. Houston police say it's where 9-year-old Kylie Sorrells died after she was intentionally shot and killed by Jeremiah Jones, her mom Brittany Sorrells' ex-boyfriend. Police believe the motive appears to be revenge. They say Jones was upset about a recent breakup with Kylie's mother. He showed up at the apartment and confronted her as she watched a movie with her 3 daughters. The argument escalated. At one point, Jones even ripped a TV off the wall. Jones accused Sorrells of cheating. Police say he ultimately went back to the bedroom and shot Kylie in the head, execution style. Before leaving the apartment, investigators tell us he shot Brittany too in the shoulder. She was rushed to the hospital and is expected to survive. Tonight's arrest happening 18 miles from the murder scene off Imperial Valley Drive. That's where SWAT moved in to make the arrest at 6 this evening. He's now charged with capital murder and aggravated assault. Jones has a lengthy criminal record, and tonight we're learning he was out on 5 different bonds for 5 different offenses, released from jail just 2 weeks ago on June 1st.
For the life of me, I cannot fathom how this continues to happen. And this is just another example of another victim of the Harris County bond pandemic. In this particular instance, a 9-year-old girl paid the ultimate price. She lost her life.
Tonight, Kylie's mother on Instagram thanking law enforcement for making the arrest. She says her daughter loved playing basketball and making TikTok videos. The arrest personal for Houston police. Kylie was also a member of the Police Activities League.
Good evening. My name is JP Harlick. I'm a lieutenant with the Houston Police Department. Standing right next to me is Lieutenant Barrow, who's the shift commander out here in the Central Patrol area. This evening at approximately 9:50, units were dispatched out here to 404 Oxford regarding a shooting. When Central Patrol units arrived at the scene, they found that there had been
I see some of y'all caught that he was out on 5 different bonds. Not one, not, how do you get 5 bonds? I didn't even know that was even possible. Did y'all catch that? I had no idea that was even possible. The only thing I don't like that the previous police officer said, or detective, whatever he is, I just don't like the fact that he was kind of blaming it on the courts. At the end of the day, it's still the people that are doing the stupid things that need to be held accountable at the end of the day. But nonetheless, I get what he's saying, but we still have to put the pure onus on the person that's committing the evil. And you also have to remember who chose that man. They speak on everything else. They speak on the police. They speak on the courts. They speak on the criminal, but you don't speak on the individual that chose to put the dangerous animal criminal in their household, right? That's the one thing that I think continues to separate what we do here is we hold the people who are supposed to be held accountable. The mother is liable, and notice how he murdered the daughter but didn't murder the mom. I'm not even sure if that was intentional or not, but let's keep going.
a domestic disturbance between a male and a female, unknown exactly what their connection is at this time, at which time the male suspect shot the female and a child was hit. Both the mother and the child were transported to local area hospitals where the child was pronounced deceased at the hospital. And at this time, we know who the suspect is and we have units actively searching for him. Any questions? The child, she was a 9-year-old female. Yes. I hadn't been up there. I'm not sure which floor.
Yes, sir, 3rd floor.
Yes, there was another child. I saw her. She looked to be about 1.5 years, 2 years old, a toddler. She was unharmed and has been driven to a family member's residence.
All right, so let me give you guys my closing thoughts. First and foremost, I thank those who have an open mind and understand that we have a hashtag here at the AFC called hashtag Date Thugs, Date Death. I continue to put that thing out there. I'm glad that that message is starting to spread to get people to understand that you have to live with the choices that you make. Okay? Now, as far as how he got in, from what we understand, the story is that the cousin who was staying with her was in and out of the apartment and apparently ended up out of the apartment, left the apartment unlocked, which is when he entered the apartment. I didn't even think about that. That actually sounds kind of suspicious itself. I'm not sure how cool that cousin is with them, or family member, whoever that is that left that apartment open and just magically he shows up and walked into the apartment now that it was unlocked, right? What what are the chances of that happening? I'm just calling it out. I'm just seeing something that's weird. Okay. The other thing is where is the children's father? Like, we never know where the kids' dads are. Like, letting the biological fathers babysit while you have your phone with your thugs is not an option, I guess. Like, why do you always have to move them in to your apartment? I just always think that's weird. And also, just to let you guys know, I know people tend to think that I should be a little more professional. I mean, I agree in some senses, but more than anything, I have a daughter. I am a father. I'm a father, not a newscaster. And I'm really just speaking on a lot of these stories from the heart because I hate to see these tragedies continue to happen to children. I know that she definitely loved her daughter, but I think the actions in the mother were flawed. Okay? We care too much about the end result as opposed to what led up to this. We care too much about how the police should handle this, how the court should handle this, when in all actuality, mom with young girls living in the house shouldn't have been dating and definitely shouldn't have had the man living with her. From what I understand, now I'm speculating on that, but shouldn't have had him in your house and been dating this man who does not have his life together. 5 felonies, excuse me, not 5 felonies. It was 5 bonds. He was on 5 bonds. Sir, you don't need to be doing anything but getting your shit together. To be on bond after bond after bond after bond for whatever freaking reason. Your priority shouldn't be on getting some ass. Your priority shouldn't be on being in a relationship with a woman who's got kids that should be focused on working and providing a solid foundation for her kids. Not on finding her some love or finding her some physical pleasure. We worry more about the end result as opposed to what led up to this. When I talk about these individuals, these mothers, not all, but too freaking many of them who continue to take their children by the hand and walk them into the lion's cage at the Thug Zoo and leave their children in the Thug Lion cage and wonder why the Thug Lion mauled their kid, because that's just what a lion does. We will question everything except the actions that led up to this. And until we get that to change, I'm going to continue to keep presenting these stories. And I want y'all to think about this. As much as people might be sick of my voice, might be sick of my beard braid or whatever the hell it is that they're sick of my face. I don't know what they're sick of. But they won't get sick of constantly me having these stories to present. Isn't that something? I always have these stories to present. There is no shortage of these stories to present. I could do these stories 7 days a week and would never run out of these stories. Why is that? Every single day, these women, these fathers, these mothers, these people, these caretakers have every opportunity not to put their children in harm's way. Life is hard all on its own. Why invite the danger into your house? This man is a career criminal, and I do agree with some of the sentiments that the police actually reiterated. There's no reason for this man to ever be in the public again. There's no reason for him to ever be out of jail again. And there's really no reason for him to have breath in his body anymore. So if he gets the ultimate penalty under law, which I think that's what they're going for, is to try to give him the death penalty, then it is what it is. But to that beautiful angel, man, she was just failed. Just to be flat out honest. I know the mom and the family are not going to like what I had to say about that, but it's the freaking truth. But I really, really thought this angel was a beautiful angel. Very, very pretty smile. It's my favorite picture of her. Young princess. R.I.P. I just think we could have done better by this little girl, okay? But thank you guys so much for following the story. The only thing we might do as far as updating is let you know what his ultimate sentence is, but pretty sure you guys kind of know where that's going to go. But if you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel, okay? Thank you.